Hey friends, welcome back to the cabin. Well, it's pie making time, but you can't have a pie without a pie crust. And I'm going to walk you through the steps to make your own and be a success. So join me back in a few minutes at the Hoosier Cabinet and we'll get this started. Okay, to begin with, we're going to gather our ingredients. You'll need 1 cup of all-purpose flour, a half a teaspoon of salt. I actually have the Himalayan pink salt here. 1/4 cup of lard, unless you're using vegetable shortening. In that case, you will need 1/3 of a cup, but we're using lard today. And I've got some ice cold water in a 1/4 cup measuring cup. So we put our flour in the bowl, followed by the salt. You're going to blend that. Okay. We're going to add our lard and we're going to cut it in. But we want to get this lard blended in very, very well. One of the problems with tough pie crust is overhandling the dough, but that's only after you start adding moisture to it. You can work this lard into this flour as much as need be, and it's not going to hurt a thing. Okay, you can kind of see that's really, really crumbly. So what we're going to do is we're going to start adding the water. Now this is where we're going to add a little water a little at a time. And I'll show you how to not overwork this dough. Add maybe a tablespoon to start with. I wouldn't add any more than a tablespoon to start with. And we're just going to kind of fold it like that. And you just gradually, like this. I am not taking the big lumps and I am not working those big lumps. I'm just stirring very lightly. So I'm going to take some of those larger pieces again. Move them off to the side because I don't want to handle them very much. There's a good size one right there. And we're going to blend some water into this lighter stuff right here. You actually want to get by with as least amount of water as you can. Oh, now we're beginning to get where, and I'm going a little slow so that hopefully you can get the concept of what's going on here. That's about where I want it. You see, it's kind of stuck together, but I still haven't overhandled it. I'm kind of moving it around, but I'm not mashing it. I think I can put one more little drop right there. And that's about all that I want to do. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to press it into the side of the bowl, sort of to make it into a ball shape, like that. And in the meantime, I'm going to get my cloth. I have a cloth over here that I'm going to sprinkle some flour on, and we'll take this dough and we'll work it out into our pie crust. Okay, so I've got my tea towel set up and I've got me some flour sprinkled on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bowl, I've got a little flour in my hands, and I'm just going to barely roll this dough into a ball that I can pick up. And we're going to handle this very, very slightly. The least amount that we handle the dough, the better. I'm going to just barely put a little bit of flour off my hands onto my rolling pin. This rolling pin is a replica of the one that my grandmother had. My daddy actually made this for me years ago, and my daddy's no longer with us, so this means an awful lot to me. This tea towel idea came to me from Miss Lori over at Whippoorwill Holler. She has a wonderful channel, and I really encourage you to go visit her and check out what she has going on over there. Okay, so we're going to start by gently, actually I think I'm going to pat this out just a little bit. And I encourage you to roll away from you. I know I accidentally rolled towards me that time. But to roll away from you, not back and forth. Let's not roll back and forth. That's actually working toughness into your pie crust. So we're going to roll it one direction. Excess flour will cause your pie crust to be tough. Overworking will cause your pie crust to be tough. Those are probably the two worst culprits, but of those, number one would be overworking your dough. Now, this is not real even because it did not have quite enough water. I was trying to be too conservative. So we'll patch it and make it work. The tea towel idea that Miss Lori mentions in one of her videos is just ingenious. It's much better because the flour is down in the fibers, and it's just ingenious. I love it. When I discovered this, I thought, now that's something to know. I'm going to cut this off right here. And I'm going to try to patch it right here and fill this in a little bit. And we're just going to see how that works. We're going to try to pinch it in. We're still going back to that, I don't want to work it too much thing though. Okay. I think that's looking pretty good. Not quite as round as I wanted it, but I think we can work with it. Now that we've got our pie crust rolled out like we want it, I'm going to fold it into quarters to make it easier to place into my pie pan. Now, this is a standard Pyrex pie pan, but I rubbed it with ghee. This is my own homemade ghee made from Lily's butter, and there will be an upcoming video on that. It's another one of those things that may seem intimidating, but you can do it. I promise you, if I can do it, you can do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to fold our crust into quarters. We're going to do this kind of gentle now. Fold it over once. Fold it over again. Now we've got it in quarters, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this corner section right here and lay it in the center of the pie pan. And we're just going to unfold. And you can adjust as you need to. Let's see how that works. Oh, this is beautiful. We're going to fit it down inside of there like that. Just gently. Have a little bit of a pull right there. That's the thing of working with this dough, though. You can pinch it together and you're fine. I'm going to move this over where you can see a little bit better. There we go. So we're going to pinch that. Actually, that's kind of thin right there, so I'm going to work this excess dough over like that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to cut some of this excess off, but we're not going to cut it off on the edge. We're going to try to cut it off a little past the edge and fold it under. I made some perforations with my knife down along this edge, and I'm just going to tear that off. I've got a few places that are a little bit thin, so I'm going to patch them just a little bit. I want this to just fill out a little bit more. Like that. And then I have a problem area right in here. And I'm just gonna, I love this. It's like Play-Doh almost. And we're still not really handling the dough. Okay, so the next thing that we're gonna do is we're going to fold these edges under just a little bit, okay, like so. We're going to work our way around. This will give you a thicker edge, not quite as likely to burn. Now you can finish these edges any way that you like. You can take a fork and just gently press them down, and when we folded that dough under, that actually gives you some thickness that you can press down. Just like that. And just work your way around. Oh, got a little bit of a... Well, there's our beautiful homemade pie crust ready for a pie. So what I'm going to do now is place it in the refrigerator to keep it cold while I make my pie filling. That's the upcoming video. I'll be back with a few final words. Thank you for stopping by the cabin. You are a blessing to me, and I'll see you on the next video.